Welcome back for another video. Well, actually, this is only our second video. But, well, we got to start somewhere.
So what we're going to talk about today is something I see a lot of people asking questions about on the sites, especially the ones who are going full-time RVing. They don't have a house anymore, and similar to what we did. And it's called, what are you going to do about an address?
Don't you mean domicile? Because that is when you pick a legal state of residence. And with that, you choose as a full-time RVer, even though you may travel frequently, this becomes your legal home address for important matters like registering your driver's license and your vehicle, paying taxes, and voting.
So when we were looking at all our options for domicile, a lot of states that they recommended were like Florida, Texas, Arizona, South Dakota. There's a few others, but when we did all the research and looked at the benefits from each different state, it came down to for us was what was going to be the quickest and easiest. And South Dakota was the one we went with. So what we did was we set up a personal mailbox with iPostal, and the requirements for the DMV were you need to have a receipt from a hotel or an RV park stating that you were there for 24 hours. You also need to have 2 pieces of mail that were sent to your personal mailbox with the address on there. I think we sent some Amazon stuff there, and we brought those packages with us. And then you had to have your original ID, and that was it. So once we decided to make the trip to South Dakota.
So I went ahead and called to see how can we make this easier. And that's when we found out that we can actually schedule an appointment ahead of time.
So what we did was we bought some airline tickets. So I flew in from Michigan and got the hotel. And the next morning she flew in from California. And then we took an Uber from the hotel to the Secretary of State's office.
So actually, when we walked in, we had some concerns, and we didn't know what to expect. When we walked in, it was super easy. We just walked straight over to the counter. There was no line because we had an appointment, and we went right up to speak to someone who was really friendly, super, super helpful, and it was much, much quicker than we thought it would be.
Yep, just hand them our documents and show them all the proof of everything, the receipt for the hotel room, the envelopes with our address on there, and then our old driver's licenses. I think we had to have our birth certificates, and you had to have some documentation about your previous marriages.
Can you say it again without the zzz? And Jim already had all of his documentation from his previous marriages.
I didn't need it because my name didn't change. So I believe the whole process took less than 30 minutes when we were there.
And then from there, we grabbed another Uber and headed over to the treasurer's office. Again, another pretty smooth experience.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a line, but nothing like you regularly see when you go to a DMV and there's like 50 people there and they're telling you to pull a number, and you pull a number, it's like 170 and they're on like 30. You just get in line. I think there was like maybe 10 people in line ahead of us. And we just took all our paperwork up there, showed them our new driver's licenses, brought all the titles, showed them the titles. And one thing you got to have on your titles is either you have to have proof that you paid sales tax in Michigan. And one of our vehicles, we didn't have that, and we had to have that emailed. So that one we end up doing by mail. So once we got back to Michigan, I was able to mail in the paperwork that showed proof that we paid sales tax and all that stuff already on the vehicle. And we just had to wait for them to mail it back to us. So that was actually still pretty easy. So we've been domiciled in South Dakota for 2 years now. And every year we got to renew our registrations, and we can do that all by mail or even online, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So actually, if you'd like a list of the things that we brought with us that we learned that we had to take with us, check the description below, and we'll provide a link for the list to make it a little bit easier for you. Although you may have some nuances depending on where you're coming from and where you actually establish domicile at, but it can give you a start.
Right. And again, we did South Dakota, and that was our choice. And I know there's plenty of other states out there, so always call ahead and make sure that you understand exactly what the requirements are for each state. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and you'll get notifications anytime we make a new video.
Yeah. So we hope this was helpful, and happy domiciling.